is 6:17 a.m. Let me take this time to welcome you to Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. I am your host, Lavia and Cupid, and indeed it is always a pleasure to be seated here before you. Today is Friday, the 30th of January 2026, and it's quite a bleak morning today. It's raining a bit outside, it's wet, so I know persons are probably up and either getting ready for 8 a.m. work or already out there if you have to get to work for 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. And I wish you all the best this morning as you traverse the nation's roads. We are coming to you live from the Port Mall, downtown Scarborough, Tobago. I want to thank you whether you're viewing us via our social media handles, Flow, Digicel or AMPLIA, for choosing Tobago Updates Television, for choosing Sunrise to wake you up in the morning. And as I said before, it is always a pleasure to bring you all this information, to keep you updated of all things current affairs and have these conversations, these very engaging and warranted conversations that keep you informed. And as per usual, I start you off with the morning brief, where we keep you updated with all things current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago as a wider entity, regionally and internationally. So starting off with some news of crime this morning. 2 young women stood before a Scarborough magistrate admitting to stealing groceries through a quiet scheme at a local supermarket here on the island. Investigators revealed that one woman working as a cashier allowed items to pass through the register without payment, while the other acted as the shopper. Their plan unraveled after a report to the police led to an investigation and arrest. Both were fined, ordered to complete community service, and placed under probation. The case served as a reminder of law enforcement's continued efforts to protect local businesses from theft and internal fraud. You know, that last line is quite interesting, as it said that the case is a reminder of law enforcement's continued efforts to protect local businesses, but it also shows the fragments in our social fabric. It's always heartbreaking, heart-rending when you hear persons having to reach to that point of stealing groceries. Of course, law enforcement has their duty, but also we as a community have to see, is it unemployment? What is our poverty rate looking like? It's always very sad. Remaining on news of crime, a 25-year-old laborer from Lowlands has been granted $350,000 bail after appearing before the High Court on Wednesday, 28 January 2026. In connection with a December shooting incident, Antonio Rama was charged with attempted murder, possession of a firearm, and possession of ammunition arising out of a shooting reported in the Plymouth district on the 17th of December 2025. The charges followed an investigation by the Scarborough Criminal Investigations Department, which led to the identification and arrest of a suspect. Bail was approved by Master Shabana Shah with a surety, and the matter was adjourned. Ram is expected to return to court on the 7th of July 2026 as the case continues. So social media was in an uproar. Of course, yes, attempted murder charge, and persons are saying, why was this person given bail? I don't know if persons recall that amendments was made to law where persons even facing murder could access bail in Trinidad and Tobago now, but yes, it's dependent on the circumstances of the said murder. But yeah, it is a bailable offense. All right, and moving along, police officers from the Community-Oriented Policing Unit and the Special Victims Unit carried out a series of school outreach visits in the Scarborough District on Tuesday, 27 January 2026. Acting Corporal Larry Braffett and Police Constable Damian Mills met with administrators and students at Hammonds High School, where they addressed Form 1 to 5 on topics including conflict resolution and sexual offenses, emphasizing respect for personal boundaries. The officers also visited the Scarborough SDA Primary School, where they reinforced the messages of positive values, respect, and personal responsibility. The initiative forms part of ongoing efforts by the police to engage young people, promote awareness, and to strengthen community safety through education. That's some good news there. All right, and taking a look nationally, we know that it was still on that topic of the zones of special operations, but also the scathing allegations by the Prime Minister. She made some scathing remarks there. After the defeat of the Zones of Special Operations bill in the Senate, a political storm erupted when Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar claimed that 2 independent senators had sought personal favors in exchange for their support on the bill. The allegation, made in a social media post, was met with a swift and united pushback from the independent senators and opposition figures, who demanded that the Prime Minister either name those involved or withdraw the claim. Independent senators Anthony Vera, Francis Lewis, and Courtney McNish firmly denied any wrongdoing, insisting they acted only on the merits of the legislation and warning that vague accusations damage public trust. Opposition leaders echoed those concerns, arguing that such serious allegations should be backed by evidence and formally reported to the appropriate authorities. All right, so the Integrity Commission said that they can't further investigate the matter unless they have more information to work on. So again, the Prime Minister will have to name and shame those 2 independent senators, she said, came to a senior senator within her government asking for personal favors in order for them to vote to support the bill, and that followed with her scathing remarks. All right, we're going to take a look in our region. U.S. President Donald Trump, and I know you're probably thinking U.S. President Donald Trump in our region. Well, yes, he has announced the reopening of Venezuelan airspace to commercial airlines. Remember, the U.S. is sort of running Venezuela at this time, marking a notable shift after years of aviation restrictions. The move is expected to ease regional travel by allowing airlines to resume overflights and potentially restore limited international connections to Venezuela, reducing flight times and costs for carriers operating across the Caribbean and parts of Latin America. While the decision does not signal a full rollback of U.S. sanctions, it is being viewed as a practical aviation measure. Airlines will still need to meet safety and regulatory requirements before resuming operations, and many are expected to proceed cautiously. Analysts say the reopening could gradually improve travel and connectivity, though broader political and economic challenges remain. So we see the U.S. is still running Venezuela, getting some pushback from interim President Delcy Rodriguez. See a person saying, well, if Delcy Rodriguez doesn't submit to the might of the U.S., President Trump might just put someone there that would sway to his will. So we will keep taking a look at that. Of course, it's very interesting times where you see one country running another. A sovereign country. It's very, very interesting times. It reminds us that China was right when they said it is not that we are governed by international laws. International laws is a facade. China says that they believe it is whoever has the greatest power will do as they please. So we take a look at that. All right, and wrapping up internationally, tensions between the United States and Iran, U.S. again, escalated after President Donald Trump warned Tehran to negotiate a nuclear deal, or U.S. President Donald Trump said, quote, face far worse consequences than before. Speaking on January 28, 2026, Trump said time was running out for Iran, announcing the deployment of a large U.S. naval force to the region as pressure mounts on Iran to abandon any pursuit of nuclear weapons. Iranian officials quickly rejected the warning, vowing a powerful response to any military action. While U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio supported the hardline approach, saying Iran's leadership is weakened by internal unrest and economic strain. Russia urged restraint and renewed diplomacy, cautioning against the use of force as protests continue inside Iran and Global concern grows. The standoff has left the international community watching closely to see whether talks or confrontation will prevail. So we see the U.S. making threats that they may attack Iran. Iran has had protests, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks. Approximately 30,000 persons have died during those protests. Protest is ongoing against the sitting government. So we'll keep paying attention. Again, we never take our eyes off international politics, because no longer could we sit here and think that these things no longer affects us. And that's it for a wrap for your morning brief here on Sunrise, where we keep you updated with all things current affairs in Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is a wider entity, regionally and internationally. So you're probably wondering, Lavion, what are we talking about? Because you know Sunrise is all about current affairs. Current affairs is anything political, geopolitical that may be affecting policy that will affect your life. And so this morning we will be having conversations surrounding those scathing remarks made or allegations made by the Prime Minister on the independent senators, and just how stark something like that is. She is saying that 2 independent senators came to her government asking for favors for a bill to pass. Even the Integrity Commission saying they would need more on that. So that is, we're looking at allegations that speak to misbehavior in public office. To even think that a sitting independent senator would ask for a personal favor in order to give a vote toward a bill that would either positively or negatively affect the population, but a bill that is being passed in Parliament and that is being presented to the Parliament rather. And so as citizens, we can't take anything like this lightly. We must pay attention to it and even dissect what this means, and whether or not the Prime Minister should come forward and name and shame these senators, these 2 senators that she said that she made the allegations against, that she said made these requests. And so this morning we're going to be speaking to MSJ, that's Movement for Social Justice, political leader and a social activist. That is Mr. David Abdullah. We're going to be having that conversation with him, but we're going to go for a quick break first, and we'll be right back with that conversation. Again, I want to thank you so much for choosing Sunrise, waking up early and joining me here as we have those very interesting conversations. All right, as we take this a quick break, I want you to do me a favor and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be back.
Come in. Long time I see you. This station complete. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Stephen to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about that. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla? I thought it's your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next 2 better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before your Ramajé, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Welcome back to Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. Thank you so much for choosing us. I want to say good morning to all our viewers out there on the Facebook Live. Thank you so much for choosing us here and joining us on Sunrise. So we jump right into the conversation this morning as we are speaking on the allegations Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Visesa made against 2 sitting independent senators. I want to remind viewers that independent senators are appointed by the president, and they are to have that neutral voice in the parliament. Of course, you have the sitting government and then you have the opposition. The opposition does have senators and the sitting government does have senators. And so when it's time for a vote on a bill, that is where you have the independent senators. They don't collude with each other. They don't come together and discuss what they're going to do. It's not like a jury. They're independent senators and they make their contributions and their vote as such independently. And so this morning we will be speaking to none other than Movement for Social Justice, that's MSJ, political leader Mr. David Abdullah on the matter. Mr. Abdullah, thank you so much for joining us here on Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to all of your viewers today.
All right. So we would have heard those allegations that the Prime Minister made against two independent senators. She didn't name them. But however, right now the conversation from the Integrity Commission, from the opposition, and even from the independent senators are saying, name them. They're challenging the Prime Minister. If this is not just smoke and mirrors, name the independent senators that came to your senior senator asking for favors. What are your thoughts on whether or not the Prime Minister should come forward and name and shame these senators that she says made those requests?
Yes, she has to name them, and it's not a matter of naming and shaming. She has made an allegation which now seeks to taint further the integrity of all 9 independent senators. The Prime Minister, for some time, has been attacking the integrity of the independent senators. She did so last year when there was a vote in the Senate on a particular piece of legislation. I think it had to do with the Children's Authority Life Fund, if I'm not mistaken, when a number of the independent senators raised some concerns, and there was actually a tied vote, and the President of the Senate had to cast a vote to carry the bill in the favor of the government, because independent senators were raising some questions and making some proposed amendments which the government was not prepared to accept. And she attacked them then, stating that, because the President of the Republic, Her Excellency Christine Kangaloo, was elected by the Electoral College, which of course comprises all the members of the House and the Senate, during a PNM government, which meant that the PNM would have had a majority, albeit a slim one at the time, and therefore the President is a PNM person. Of course, she was a PNM member of Parliament for a brief period and elected and served as a junior minister, and then she was a senator for the PNM for another period before, and served as President of the Senate before she became the President of the Republic. So on the basis of that, Mrs. Prasad Desessa is saying that all of the persons who have been appointed to the independent bench by the President are PNM persons, which is not true, but that is her claim, and she's been attacking their integrity. And then prior to the debate on the ZOSO bill, popularly called the ZOSO bill, although I like the full name, Zones of Special Operations Bill, she attacked them terribly, saying that they were eater food, brown nose, and other kinds of names which are totally inappropriate for the President to be going after the independent senators in that way. And then after the debate and the vote in the Senate on Tuesday last, she again came out with very, very strong statements and then doubled down, and now has said 2 of them, well, she has claimed 2 of them was seeking to get favors in return for votes part of the bill. Do that without naming them. I heard Mr. Martin Daly, senior counsel, speaking yesterday to another media house, saying that she could do that in the House of Representatives if she wishes, because if she does that, then she would have a certain amount of immunity due to parliamentary privilege, and so will not be able to be sued. But she has to call the names. Other than that, what she has done is to cast a cloud of an allegation against all 9, and that is really very unfair. and wrong, and wrong.
Yeah, sir, the Prime Minister has taken this stance of I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but the way in which she would communicate her thoughts on, especially with matters with the independent senators, and even with the president as well of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Do you think the Prime Minister has taken into consideration tone that she's setting within the citizenry of how the citizenry will now view these persons, the sitting parliamentarians?
Yes, I mean, the thing is, well, two things. When she was first elected, you remember she gave a very good, speech when she was sworn in as a prime minister, and she said she'll be prime minister for everyone, for all. Like, she used a slogan, when she wins, everybody wins. So she said she'll be governing for everyone. But you cannot, on the one hand, say that and then, be attacking people in that way. The other thing is that when the Prime Minister is elected, she swears, everybody who gets elected or even nominated as senators you take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the law. Now, what does that mean? It means that you have to respect the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago as it is. You may have difficulties, or you may think it needs to be amended or reformed. I myself have been part of different civil society processes which have articulated the need for major constitution reform, and this goes back to 2000, 2001, so that's 25 years ago, when the late Professor Dennis Panton, myself and others started what was Constitution Reform Committee, later known as the Constitution Reform Forum. But you could advocate for constitution reform, but you cannot then condemn the very constitution which you are sworn to uphold. And what she's doing is not admitting, that the way in which the president of the republic is elected is done constitutionally, according to the existing constitution. The 9 independent senators, as we call them, are nominated or appointed rather by the president in accordance with the constitution and the law. So you cannot be attacking them because the president did no wrong. She acted in accordance with the Constitution and the law. So if you have a problem, what you have to say is that we disagree with the way in which the Constitution is presently constructed, and we're going to come with recommendations or a process of constitution reform that will seek to change the existing constitution. But you can't. What she's doing, therefore, is demeaning and attacking the existing system, which she was sworn to uphold, without saying, and doing it by personalizing the individual who is the president, by personalizing who are the 9 independent senators and calling them names and so on, without saying, well, this is a problem of the system and we need to change the system, and this is the way in which we propose that the system be changed. So that is very bad, because she then calls into disrepute the entire system of governance that we now have.
Yeah, but we would never see that kind of reform, because any sitting government, or when it comes to the appointments of a president, would want to know that when that president is being appointed, you do have a majority say. So do you think that as a type of reform that we would see, or would we just always see that back and forth depending on which government is sitting in cabinet and which government would have selected the president?
Yeah, we would probably just have the same back and forth. I mean, when she was Prime Minister from 2010 to 2015, I was part of the partnership. And one of the things that when we went in, as I mentioned, into the partnership, which we put in the manifesto, was that there would be serious constitutional reform. One of the reasons why we left in 2012 was because there was no effort up to that time to engage in constitutional reform. Now, subsequent to that, there was a process. Mr. Prakash Ramadan led a process and so on. But it was a flawed process, and it did not arrive at substantive, reform of the Constitution. And by that time, in any case, the government was nearing the end of its term. But the partnership did have, I think, a significant mandate to engage in serious constitution reform by a very democratic process. You can't change a constitution top down. It has to be involving the people. And so she has a very significant majority in the House when you add the two Tobago People's Party members. The PNM is in a very small minority. And if there's a proper process of constitutional reform that is democratic, the Rowley government did establish a constitution reform advisory committee, I think it was called, and they did go all over the country and they did produce a significant report. Again, it was towards the end of the term, and the Rowley government did absolutely nothing with it. In fact, he did the worst with it. He then convened a convention of the PNM and rubbished aspects of that constitution reform recommendations, and then proposed that the coat of arms be changed, which was not part of the report of the Constitution Advisory Committee. So successive governments really have made a mess of it, and so I mean the Manning government, Mr. Manning, he then commissioned the drafting of a new constitution, which was done, but that again was not done by with a lot of popular input, and there were a lot of flaws in it. There were other processes that were happening around the same time. We in the Constitutional Reform Forum, we presented a People's Manifesto for Constitutional Reform. So there have been attempts. The Robinson government, the NER government, also had a Constitutional Reform Commission, which was a committee that was chaired by Sir Isaac Kayatali. So there have been efforts and discussions, but none of these have resulted in any wholesale reform of the Constitution. And so this has been a problem, and I think when the partnership was there, they did elect through the Electoral College a president, Mr. Anthony Carmona, senior counsel. He was elected as president, and he would have had the opportunity to appoint independent senators. There was no complaint by Mrs. Prasad Bissessa about the process at that time, but she's now complaining about it now. So it really is wrong, and what it seeks to do was to discredit the actual contributions of the independent senators in the debate in the Senate on the Zoso bill. I listened to some of their contributions, not all, but most importantly, what happened at the end of the debate, in accordance with the process of the parliament, is that after the person who moved the bill, in the case of the Attorney General, winds up the debate, which is the speeches backwards and forwards, the contributions backwards and forwards, the Senate then goes into what is known as a committee stage, where the president comes off of his chair and sits down. People then don't have to get up to speak, and there's now a discussion of the bill clause by clause, which is where the independent senators and the opposition proposed amendments. But prior to the going into committee stage, the Attorney General said in winding up the debate, and I was listening to him, he said that the government was not prepared to accept or to agree to any amendments. And then the independent senators and Senator Alwari on behalf of the opposition articulated their amendments and gave reasons why for the record. And after each amendment was proposed, the Attorney General said they're not accepting it, and that is what happened. And I think that the arrogance of the government in not engaging with the independents in a serious way to agree on some compromises, which often happens, which is what Parliament is about. Parliament is not about my way or the highway. The government comes with a bill, and I was in the Senate, and there were on many occasions, sometimes on a bill that required not a special majority, but a simple majority, where the government accepted amendments proposed by either the opposition or by the independent senators. And that is what is necessary to arrive at the best possible legislation. Sometimes it still gets to the point of not being the best legislation, but you try to get to the best possible legislation by accepting the recommendations or the amendments proposed by the independents. Now, on the independent bench, there are 3 senior counsels. So these are 3 very experienced persons in the law. Senator Anthony Vera, Senator Sophia Choate, and Senator Michael de la Bastida, all senior counsels. And you also have Mrs. Candice Jones Simmons, who is an attorney at law and a tutor at the Hugh Wooding Law School. So you have four experienced attorneys, 3 of them being senior counsels. You have a very respected economist of many years standing, Dr. Marley Natz, and other professionals. And, even a simple amendment that was proposed by Senator Alicia Lalit for the inclusion on the Social Transformation Committee of a person who comes from the persons who have disabilities, to make that committee more inclusive.
Right.
That very simple amendment, that was not a far-reaching amendment, that and all was not
rejected,
accepted by the government. Yes, and I think that attitude by the government, I mean, I saw the Attorney General and he was saying, well, this amendment has merit, it requires our consideration, but we can't accept it this time. We will look at it sometime afterwards. But looking at it afterwards,
do you believe that was part of the government trying to rush the bill just in time before the SOE culminates at the end of this month?
Yes, and the Attorney General said as much. He said that they needed it passed before the end of January, which is when the SOE ended. Now, several things about that, and I had issued a statement last week, Tuesday, which was when the bill first went before the Senate. And it had been passed in the House in a marathon sitting on the Friday that went into the early hours of Saturday morning. And of course, the government had the majority and they were able to do that. Excuse me. And I said in our statement last week, Tuesday, why the obscene haste? Now, the government knew when the state of emergency would end. They had the president proclaim the state of emergency when was it? In July. And then it was further extended in October, I think it was, after the 3 months and 14 days or whatever. So they had time. They had maybe they didn't know they wanted to go with ZOSOs in the first 3 months of the emergency. But after the extension in October.
Even as we are on that and we're saying here that they probably wasn't sure that they wanted to go with that. The United National Congress would have campaigned heavily on crime reduction. We are going after the traffickers, we're going after the drug traffickers, we're going after the crime lords. And now they came in, we had an SOE, and now we wanted to pass a bill which is mini SOEs. Is it safe to say that they probably don't have a crime plan on the books that they already had that they were going to implement? And is it that they're just making it up as they go along? How do you view it?
It certainly seems as if they're making it up as they go along. According to Lloyd Best, he used to say government by VAPs, because when the first state of emergency was declared in July last year, they may not have then considered the need for a ZOSO bill. But certainly when they extended it for another 3 months in October, which then ends in a few days' time, they had 3 months to then ask themselves the question, what do we do next? Is it necessary? And to have some other crime. Now, the state of emergency and the ZOSOs are not crime-solving strategies. They are crime suppression strategies. In other words, that because of heavy policing, because in the case of the state of emergency, you could detain people without trial, without a warrant, for the duration of the emergency, you can suppress the crime. The question arises is, what happens when the state of emergency is ended? And the Attorney General said something that was interesting. He said, we have intelligence that when the emergency is ended, there can be an upsurge. Now, what does that mean? It means that when fellows get out of detention, if they are not then immediately arrested and charged for major offenses like murder or possession of arms and ammunition or being a member of a gang or other kinds of serious offenses like that, if they're not immediately arrested and charged with those offenses, then they'll be free.
Right.
And it therefore means that in the 6 months of this emergency and the 3 months of the PNM instigated emergency from December 2024 to early April 2025, in those 9 months plus the 2 weeks that you had before they went to Parliament to have the extension, really we have been in 10 months of emergency out of the last 13 months. If in those 10 months the police, with all of their intelligence, with all of their eavesdropping capacity and so on, to intercept communications, with all of that, they were not able to get evidence that would lead to the
Use
arrest
one of the
and
laws
charging.
that we have on books already to charge these persons. Yeah, it's always interesting when you hear government officials and police say that they have this intelligence that this is what is going to happen, but then no arrest follows. I want to ask you before we wound up here this morning about the perceived extrajudicial killing that we saw last week, and which followed by the commissioner's statements that he sees no reason to suspend his officers. They're going to go for counseling, and the public only saw a snippet of what happened in the ending. Now that snippet saw us, the young man's hand out of the vehicle, and of course we have public outrage because persons are saying that was murder. What are your thoughts on the entire thing from what we saw in the video, from the commissioner's statement, first of all, that it was a shootout, and then what we saw in the video, and then now him standing by his officers, and we are seeing even the family said no one has come to their homes, no one from TTPS has reached out. It's just been silence since.
Yeah, the commissioner, in my view, is totally wrong. And I even heard former Commissioner Gary Griffiths, with whom I disagree on many issues, including police killings when he was Commissioner of Police. But I heard him say something, and he's right on that, that even if there was a shootout, let's not make it specific to this, and then I'll come to the specific. Suppose there is a shootout along whatever, but then the person who was shooting at the police is alive and surrenders by putting his hands up. At that moment, the use of force policy of the police would say that that person is not a threat to you, and therefore you cannot then shoot and kill him. So let us look at what happened in this specific instance. We don't know all of the facts about what happened in the 12-minute chase, according to the Commissioner of Police. But even assuming there was a chase, and even assuming that somebody, an occupant of that vehicle, was shooting at the police, at the moment when the car crashed and the driver the gentleman, Sir Samuel, put his hands outside of the vehicle, and he had no gun in his hand, and he was surrendering, there was no need for the use of force, of shooting and killing him at that point in time. That is the time when the police have to use their judgment and say there was no threat to them. And if he put his hand out with a gun, and the video had evidence of him putting his hand out with a gun, and the gun was pointed at the police, then the police could have shot in their defense. But that was not the case. He was surrendering, and therefore he ought not to have been shot and killed by the police at that point in time. And the police commissioner's statement was very, very unfortunate because it gives a signal to his officers that whenever a circumstance arises, regardless of what comes at the very end of it, and even if somebody is giving themselves up and surrendering and there's no longer a threat, then the police, because of what may have happened previously, the police can shoot and kill, and that is wrong. And I think that video, incidentally, coming as it did while the Zoso bill was being debated in the Senate, had the effect of saying to many in the society, I'm not sure about independents, I can't speak for them because they didn't refer to it, but for many in the society would have said, that is why we are not comfortable with the ZOSO, because it will give the police and the army immense powers to enter our premises without a warrant, to seize even a vehicle, documents, all kinds of things, on the suspicion that a person may be involved in criminal activity or even a threat to public disorder, which means protest. And also that you could cordon off an area, which means nobody could go in or out, so there might be no media presence and so on. And
then all
curfew
these powers
for 72 hours.
And then all of this would have been given to the Prime Minister unilaterally to say, this is where I claim a zone of special operations and this is where I don't. Mr. Abdullah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's all the time we have this morning. It's always a pleasure.
Yes.
And always so insightful having conversations with you. Of course, we're going to pay attention to the developments on this bill, whether they're going to make amendments and come back. And of course, we're going to pay attention to the conversation surrounding the perceived extrajudicial killing. And we will want to have more conversations with you on that. I want to wish you a wonderful day and a great weekend, and thank you so much for always joining us here on Sunrise.
Thank you very much for having me. And we didn't even get to the issue of which area communities are going to be targeted, and the whole issue now of race, which the Prime Minister herself now has jumped into the issue, which is another issue of concern.
Indeed, yes. And we will have that conversation soon. Wishing you a great day, sir. All right, viewers. So we were talking to MSJ political leader David Abdullah as we speak on the scathing allegations that the Prime Minister made against the independent senators. Two of them that she said came to her senior senator looking for personal favors in order to get their votes. We're also still speaking about the extrajudicial killing, perceived extrajudicial killing. All right, well, you know, when the programming here on the Sunrise is over, we move on over to the morning show, because Tobago Updates Television, we always have something very interesting for you. That's going to be Akin Labi and the lovely Renessa. They're going to take you through the morning, and then you're going to have Natalie Seeley. She's going to round you off with a good morning Tobago, that's GMT. Of course, we never have enough time here on Sunrise because we always have so much to talk about, but next week Monday I'm going to be right here seated waiting to have good conversations with you, keeping you updated with current affairs. Don't take your eyes off anything political, because guess what? Those are the policymakers, and that's what make the difference and changes, whether positive or negatively, in your life. I want to wish you a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Monday.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, welcome to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Today is Friday, January 30th, 2026. Yes, the last working day of the long month of January. We made it, people. We made it to the end of January. We can breathe a sigh of relief. Joining me in studio is the lovely, and I'll add an extra lovely to that, Renessa Ortiz. Good morning, Renessa.
Good morning, Akinlabi. It's so good to be here in studio with you this morning. Good morning to all Tobago Updates viewers. It's always a pleasure being here and bringing the conversations to you. As Akinlabi said, it is Friday. It is the end of the week. It is also the end of January. We just have one more day, but it is the end of January, and we're all happy that we have made it to the end.
Yes, Renessa. We have a lot of interesting things to discuss this morning. You know, on Fridays, we tend to keep it light, get into some sports and have light conversations. And before we get into any of that, I think we should head over to our news in 90 seconds.
And here's what's making news in 90 seconds for Friday, January 30th, 2026. Two young women stood before a Scarborough magistrate, admitting to stealing groceries through a quiet scheme at a local supermarket. Investigators revealed that one woman working as a cashier allowed items to pass through the register without payment, while the other acted as a shopper. Their plan unraveled after a report to police led to an investigation and arrest. Both were fined, ordered to complete community service, and placed under probation. The case served as a reminder of law enforcement's continued efforts to protect local businesses from theft and internal fraud. Up next, a 25-year-old laborer from Lowlands has been granted $350,000 bail after appearing before the High Court on Wednesday, 28 January 2026 in connection with a December shooting incident. Antonio Ram was charged with attempted murder, possession of a firearm, and possession of ammunition arising out of a shooting reported in the Plymouth district on the 17th of December 2025. The charges followed an investigation by the Scarborough Criminal Investigations Department, which led to the identification and arrest of a suspect. Bail was approved by Master Shabana Shah with a surety, and the matter was adjourned. Ram is expected to return to court on the 7th of July 2026 as the case continues. And finally, police officers from the Community-Oriented Policing Unit and Special Victims Unit carried out a series of school outreach visits in the Scarborough District on Tuesday, 27 January 2026. Acting Corporal Larry Brathwaite and Police Constable Damian Mills met with administrators and students at Hammers High School, where they addressed Forms 1 to 5 on topics including conflict resolution and sexual offenses, emphasizing respect for personal boundaries. The officers also visited the Scarborough SDA Primary School, where they reinforced messages of positive values, respect, and personal responsibility. The initiative forms part of ongoing efforts by the police to engage young people, promote awareness, and strengthen community safety through education. These and other stories in our major newscasts at 6:30 p.m. Be viewing Tobago Updates Television, and that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, for that news in 90 seconds. And unfortunately, we've seen a number of stories in crime, but the good news is the police are on it, and they've brought some persons before the courts. And we also see that the TTPS is doing their community outreach, really making that connection with those within the communities and trying to build that connection so that we can all work together in fighting crime.
Especially when we start in the schools, it's important that we start with our young people. When we put that information in them from that age, it is easier and it's more received, it's receptive compared to older persons. We have stuck in our ways, and it takes a lot more to get those bad habits out of us. But when we instill these values in our young people from that age, it actually helps the future and our citizenry here in Trinidad and Tobago.
I agree with you very much, and we hope that in 2026 the crime situation in Tobago could be brought even under more control, because we know they did an excellent job last year in 2025, and we wish them even more progress come 2026. Okay, viewers, it's that time of the morning to celebrate with those who are celebrating with us. It's time for birthday shout-outs. Yes, and whatever you're celebrating, we want to celebrate with you. We kick things off by saying happy birthday to Mr. Renzel Sebro. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Sibo. God's richest blessings. We hope that you stay safe. We know rain falling today. We hope you stay safe when you go out to celebrate tonight. Take your celebrations into the weekend. Be safe, be surrounded with friends and family, and take that time off to reflect on God's blessings in your life.
Up next, we have Randall Christmas. Happy birthday from the Tobago Updates family. We're asking you to just stop by the studio today and drop off some cake and some ice cream. We'll greatly appreciate it, but we want to wish you a splendid day, a splendid year ahead, and that today is spent with those who value and cherish you.
And finally, we say happy birthday to Miss Annette Wood. Miss Annette Wood, happy birthday to you. You know, Vanessa, she looks familiar. She looks like she resembles somebody, a certain producer at Tobago Updates. But we want to say happy birthday to you, Miss Wood. God's richest blessings. Today is a special day. And I know that your friends and your family will treat you very, very good today and over the weekend. And they will shower you with all sorts of goodness and blessings and cake and ice cream and jewelry. Vanessa, she might get some jewelry. We never know. God's richest blessings to you, and we wish you success in the upcoming year. Viewers, whatever you're celebrating, we want to celebrate with you, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, a graduation, you've gotten a new job, whatever you are celebrating, send us your information, and Tobago, Trinidad, the region, and the wider world will celebrate with you here on Tobago Updates. Yes. So, Vanessa, tell us, who do we have on the show this morning?
So this morning we have Asher Legal, Coordinator, Sport and Education Unit, Youth Empowerment and Sport, and she's here to talk to us about the Primary Schools Beach Volleyball League. After that, we have Marcus. He would be taking over, and he's going to be interviewing Assembly Member Keegan Denu, Division of Youth Empowerment and Sport, and they're going to be speaking about the Tobago Sport Program.
All right, so we have a number of interesting things to talk about. We really surrounded it around sports today. Today's Friday is a time to, just take it easy, and as you head into the weekend. Our viewers, we want to thank you for staying with us, whether on our Facebook Live or YouTube channel, 102 on AMPLIA, 121 or 130 on Flow, and 33 on the digital, whether you're in Tobago, Trinidad, the Caribbean, or the wider world. We want to thank you for making Tobago Updates Tobago's #1 television station. And we ask you to do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these messages.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and the service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Tobago. It's Carnival. Dubai. The event space formerly known as Shade. For the court Tobago. Says, let's celebrate Carnival. Bring your coolers every Friday and Saturday. Starting from Friday the 30th of January till Carnival week. And pay $50 at the door with your cooler all night. No ice, no chaser allowed. Top DJ and artists passing through. Every Friday and Saturday. To pre-book your cabanas. Call 369-6414 and 394-3612. Or email iwang@gmail.com. And this promotion is going on until Easter. Gates open at 9 p.m. It's rum. It's bacchanal. Bring your coolers and come.
Been down this road before. All that left is rum and bacchanal. This is carnival.
Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and the service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show, and we have in studio with us Ms. Asha Legol, who is the coordinator of the Sport and Education Unit in the Division of Education, Skills and Innovation. Good morning, Ms. Legol.
Morning, morning.
So we're here to talk about primary schools beach volleyball league. Is this the first year of the league?
Yes, it is. It's actually inaugural league. We would have started a pilot project at the implementation phase last year, February, where we would have invited all the primary schools. They would have been taught basically the skills, the fundamentals of playing the sport, and we would have basically taught them exactly how to progress through the game. We would have also modified the game, obviously, to suit the age group. Because as you know, beach volleyball is traditionally 2 persons, right? So 2v2 we call it. But however, we tailored primary school to be 4v4. So we maintained the size of the court and we added 2 more players to be able to maneuver in this space.
Now, why beach volleyball for primary school?
Well, one, it's one of the easiest sports to learn. Volleyball is a rebound sport. That's 1. 2, very cost effective, literally minimal equipment. All you basically need are the nets and the balls. 3, it doesn't require the large amount of persons like if you were to make a football team or a netball team. So it's easier on the schools or the teachers to find persons to play. And the next reason is because it's also a lifetime sport. So what we class a lifetime sport is a sport that can be played throughout your lifetime regardless of your age, your gender, your economic status. Volleyball is a sport that you can play, and we need to also factor in that we need to teach these children to be able to participate in multiple things. The more they are exposed to sport, it's way better for them.
Now, I know before we came on air, I was asking about pickleball. Why not pickleball? And you were explaining the reason why you chose beach volleyball as compared to pickleball. Can you explain to the viewers?
Right, so everybody believes, that there should be so many sports in the school system, but what we also have to factor in is that they still have to cover their coursework, right? There's only so many things that we can do at any point in time. And the reason why we added beach volleyball, because we wanted to still have that team sport element. Pickleball, you still have to purchase rackets and these things, which is a cost in itself, right? As opposed to beach volleyball, it's easier and more cost effective for persons to basically come. They don't worry about sneakers, because little people don't know, getting shoes for students is also a challenge as well, right? So we chose the most cost effective and the sport that is the easiest to learn, because you can actually learn volleyball in a few hours. It's that easy. It's really that easy.
No, just give us some more information concerning the league in terms of when does it start, how many schools are participating, and what's the structure of the league?
Right, so we're actually starting today. So when I leave here, I have to head over to Corland.
Okay.
We have 18 primary school registered to play, and we're actually hosting 3 divisions. So we have all female, all male, and mixed as well, right? And it'll actually be one of the 2 sports in the primary school system that facilitates boys and girls playing on the same team together. So they basically be playing 3 sets, best of 3 sets. And they will be in group stages, and then from the groups they advance to semi-finals and then finals. Our finals will be on the 10th of February. At Corland, we invite everyone to come out. We have games today and all of next week as well.
Okay, so it's more of a, even though it's called a league, it's more of a tournament format.
It's still a league actually. A tournament is something that will happen basically in a day or 2, but it's happening in the space of 8-9 days.
Okay.
Now walk us through the format. Are we looking at group matches,
Yes,
knockout,
so we have
rounds, finals?
3 groups in each division. So we have schools like Montgomery, Bonaccord, Scarborough, RC, Signal Hill. They're all divided into different groups for the mixed, the female, and the all boys as well. From there, from each group. So let's say, for instance, in the mixed division, groups have about 5 to 6 teams in each group, and from there the top team will advance from each group, and then the second second place will advance to make the 4th team, and from there they go into a big 4. They play, then the winners would advance to the finals and play on the finals.
Now I know that sometimes we could have challenges with schools participating. What was particularly sometimes there's a challenge with schools in the East. What was the response like from schools in the East?
We had a really good response from them. Some of the challenges most times is transportation as well. To cost to come down here, because our only beach facility is at Corland for now. So that is always a cost factor coming in there, coming all the way down, because most persons may not want to spend that money, and in some instances, some parents may not be able to afford the transportation fee, whatever it may be, to come all the way down on this side. So that's always a factor, regardless of the sport. It's always a factor.
Now, how does this league connect to the holistic development of the young people? What are the values you hope that they would gain coming out of this league?
One thing you will learn in volleyball is good communication, because if you and your partners are not communicating, you will fail. So that is one of the most important things that you will gain there. Spatial awareness as well, and the ability to make decisions, as well as teamwork as well, because in volleyball you have 3 chances and the ball has to go over, right? As you know. So in order to cooperate and getting that over, you have to communicate. You have to be able to sight, you have to be able to make a decision in a matter of seconds. So that will also help in their holistic development.
In terms of you starting the league, what are some of the long-term goals that you all hope to achieve with this league?
So one of our long-term goals obviously is to have volleyball be a premier sport in Tobago, because as you know, we have a lot of beaches, right? And because we have a lot of beaches, it only makes sense to capitalize on sports that can be played on these surfaces. That's 1. 2, eventually we know that making a national team would be a long-term goal. However, to have more persons physically active is the long-term goal. Having that movement throughout the day helps the body on a long-term basis. So that's what we're hoping, that every person may not be able to go and play football, play basketball, play cricket, because you will still need equipment for these things. As opposed to volleyball, you can literally construct a net, tie it up on 2 trees, if you can go to Corland, and you can still play, right?
Now I know on the primary school level there are students who are a bit shy to come out of their shells and experience sports or marching or stuff like that, but I know we're focusing right now on sports, and I know that was my experience in primary school. I did not want to try any sport at all. What would you say to a student who is looking on right now, who is still a bit shy or skeptical about trying out for the volleyball league?
I would encourage them to try. Volleyball is a sport, I would say, is very easy to learn, and all you really need to be able to do is being willing to trust yourself and trust your body, right? Because volleyball does have a lot of diving as well, and you don't have to necessarily do the traditional movement. It's like I said, it's a rebound sport. You can literally throw your hand, throw your foot, throw it back of your hand. Once the ball rebounds off of your body, you just can't lift the ball, obviously. I encourage them to try something new. And because it's not a contact sport as well, I know some persons are afraid of the contact, the physical contact itself. I always encourage them that it's a way to participate in sport without worrying about clashing into somebody pushing you, right? That's also a really big selling point as well, because not everybody likes that physical contact, somebody in your face, that kind of way. So that's also a major selling point as well.
No, we're starting off the first year with 18 teams. Do you have a cap for future tournaments?
No, we have no cap. So there are 35 primary schools in Tobago, and if all of them come, we are going to accommodate all of them.
Okay, and do you all hope to expand this into secondary schools, or is there already a secondary school?
So we do hope to expand it in secondary schools, once we are given the permission to, yes. We are going to start, we're actually starting with some secondary schools next week as well, but our long-term goal is, yes, it will spill over to secondary schools. And how secondary schools will be formatted, it will advance to 3v3 and then to 2v2, so from 4 to 3 to 2.
Okay. In terms of attendance, is it free to the public? Is there
Yes,
free?
it is free to the public. You all are welcome to come out and view the games today, as well as from Tuesday to Friday next week. You can look out on our division's page for the fixtures, because they'll be posting it daily. All games will be starting from 9:30 a.m. till about 2 p.m. each day.
Now, I think one of the questions I think parents would be asking as well, they realize that their children is excelling at the beach volleyball. What are the pathways for them moving forward after the primary school league?
So ideally, in terms of pathways, eventually, like I said, we intend to start secondary schools as well. So once we start secondary school, it more or less exposes them to that. As well as there's also indoor volleyball. So if you can't play beach volleyball, it also gives you the opportunity to play indoor volleyball as well. So that's where the spillover will happen.
All right, we want to thank you, Miss Ashel Legal. Before we go, you have any other closing words you'd like to?
I look forward to seeing everybody come out today and support the students in beach volleyball. It's our first time having it. It is going to be exciting. It is going to be enjoyable, and the children just love it. I do believe that anyone who comes there will have a great time, and you also encourage persons themselves to participate in it.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ashel Legal, who is the coordinator of the Sport and Education Unit at the Division of Education, Skills and Innovation, talking about primary schools beach volleyball league. That starts today down at the beach volleyball facility in Corland Blackrock. Yes, if you have time, go out and support our children. Viewers, we have to take a short break, but when we come back, Mr. Cricket will be in studio and he will be talking all things sport in Tobago. So do us a favor, share the live, share the live, share the live. After these messages.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. Whether you are a mid-sized business or a multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Hey, you come in. Long time I see you, Joe. this station pumping. Already ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Stephen to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about them. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla. I thought it's your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before you ramage, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Hey viewers, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Updates Television. It's another Friday here, a beautiful Friday in beautiful island of Tobago. And you know, once you see this face and hear this voice, it's all about sports. And I want to thank Akin Labi for just holding on 5 more minutes, Akin Labi.
About 5 minutes.
You know, I like discussing the sports with you before we get into the discussion with Mr. Assemblyman Keegan the Noon, talking about, you know, of course, you know, his new portfolio and all the plans that he has for that division. But Akin Labi, you know, just piggybacking on the previous interview with Ms. Asha Legal, coordinator of the Sporting Education Unit, talking about beach volleyball for the primary schools, and I think it's a wonderful idea. For anyone living in that area or anyone who travels that area and you pass and you see that beautiful facility, I want to say underused. I'm happy now that we have some form of activity, especially at the primary schools level, introducing a sport I call an easy sport to learn and a sport that can take you very far as beach volleyball. Last year they would have done the training aspect of it, so I'm very excited to now see what they would have learned, put into practice, and to see the schools go down there and of course battle for bragging rights and the trophies and medals that will be on offer. And then I heard that she also mentioned that secondary school is going to come on board later on So of course, all of Tobago is free. You can go down there and take in the beach volleyball. You know, it's what do you say, boy? Weather permitted in that sense. You know, even though you're rain, you can still play. It's not like it's not like cricket. So
it's one of the easy sports as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's very easy to learn and it's very fun. And obviously, children and son. Anything looking like a beach, they're gonna love that. So I can imagine the excitement throughout the week, and of course today they're gonna go down there and represent their school and their community. So I'm looking forward to that. It's all free. So encouraging all of Tobago to go down there and support whatever school that you would have probably attended or whatever community that you want to go and support, go down there and support. And Akilabi also, in terms of other local sports, we had the Tobago Football Association FA Cup semi-finals. I couldn't get all the scores, but I can tell you the finals next Wednesday. It's going to be Signal Hill United taking on Golden Lane FC. I'm sure when you hear FA Cup football and you hear football in Tobago, Golden Lane and Signal Hill.
You've never heard up here not before.
You're thinking about Stockleyville, probably Roxbull Lakers or Phoenix or some other team. But FA Cups, knockout games, when it comes to the cups, you know, anything happens on the day of the match. And then obviously Signal Hill United and Golden Lane, they are going to be the teams battling on finals there at the Dwight York Stadium come Wednesday, 4th February. And I'm seeing here a price of what, $60 to enter. Like that's what small money.
Small money. That's our lunch. That's lunch. What you have to do is go buy lunch one day. Yeah. One day of the week, go buy lunch. Yeah. And you can go to the FA Cup finals.
Yeah. And I can imagine what this means for each of the communities, right? I mean, Golden Lane, like too. You expect that whole environment, you know, to come down there and support their team. Signal Hill United. One of the biggest football matches I've seen at the Dwight York Stadium. It was an FA Cup match. I think it was Roxbull Lakers against a team from the West. And my goodness, I've never seen a local match with so many people, including the uncovered stands and the uncovered part of the stadium. And persons went out there, and it was a really good match as well. So I'm expecting to see Signal Hill people, Patience Hill as well, or Signal Hill and environs, go out there and support their team on Wednesday. I'm not sure who will be the favorite here. Hopefully next week we can have probably the two captains and someone from the TFA come in and talk about the matchups and give us a better understanding of what to expect on Wednesday. But it's $60 to enter. $60 to enter the game. It starts at 8 p.m. That's the grand final. But before that, there is a Premier Division match at Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, or the TTPL, or Trinidad and Tobago Professional Football League match featuring Phoenix, the lone Tobago team at the Premiership level. They are going to be taking on FC Eagles. I mean, last week we had the head coach here talking about the good things of the Phoenix team and what he wants the culture that he wants to shape with the club.
So, and Marcus, I've really been following the Premier League, the National Premier League. So I don't know how Phoenix is performing. Where are they on the standards?
Well, they have changed coaches twice. And they are now with a coach, I think, from an Irish coach. And the last time I checked, they were at the bottom of the table. And then he would have actually been in charge for about 5 games. And they would have won like 3 out of the 5 games. So they have moved off the bottom and out of relegation. So they're actually trending in the right direction. You know, and you know what he said last week is not that the team is lacking talent. You know, they have been losing games in the last 5 minutes, and that comes down to concentration and probably fitness in that sense. So that's basically what they are working on to try to give a strong finish to the league. And I'm hoping that they are actually out of the relegation zone and they can maintain their spot in the Premier Division, because that's where we want the best Tobago players to play at the Premier level, to be seen by the national coaches, and obviously trying to get a chance to get into the national setup. Because even though this club is Canaan based, there are players who are playing from all over Tobago with the club, because it's a professional club, or they are trying to be a professional club. And I must say they have actually improved on their social media offerings, in that they are showing dressing room clippings, they are showing warm-ups, they are showing the results, they are showing the post-match interviews with the coach and the management as well. And that brings supporters as well. It gives the supporters an understanding of what's taking place, something I can follow. So I'm looking forward to this match next Wednesday as well against FC Eagles. They have been very successful at Dwight York Stadium. Obviously, you are playing at home and you have the home support. And all the more reasons for supporters to go out there on Wednesday to support Signal Hill and Golden Lane. You can get there earlier and taking this professional football league match featuring our Tobago Phoenix and FC Eagles. And Akilabi, just before we wrap up the local segment of things in terms of what's happening with sports, something very dear to me, the Tobago Cricket Association John Pollard 2-day club competition. We tried to start the season last weekend, but I'm sure if you are on social media would have seen what would have transpired in terms of some of the pitches not being prepared and on field not being ready to have the start of the tournament. And once again, we have been given full assurances by the Department of Sport that the 3 venues that we so need to start the cricket, they are going to be ready for this weekend. That's Shaw Park, Moriah, and Roxborough. And it's been a perennial problem for cricket at Kinlabi, because when you look at the recreational spaces throughout Tobago, obviously they are, I want to say, multi-purpose, because you may have a church group, you may have a sport group, and you may want to have a sport and family day. A church group may want to have some kind of social. So it's not just scheduling the matches and then just walk onto the recreational spaces, obviously maintained by the Tobago House of Assembly. You have to book the facility. And once you book the facility and you get that approval from the department, you expect that the necessary work will be done. And you as an organization, you put things in place, you create your fixtures, you communicate with your clubs, and you give them all the assurance that we're gonna have the venues prepared and ready. And then the clubs then start to plan. You put your meals in place, you contact your players, you probably organize your transportation, you take time off as well, because people work on weekends as well. And then you go there and then you can't play because the gong isn't prepared. It makes the association responsible for the cricket looks very bad, and it brings the tournament into disrepute. Persons who are interested in participating may not want to do it anymore because they put in all these things in place, and then you show up and then the powers that be not doing what they are supposed to do. And many a times we put the blame on the secretaries of the different divisions because we believe that they are in charge. But how I understand how the sport works, you have the secretary, the administrator, then you have the director of sport, then you have foremen, you have charge hands, then you have pitch attendants, and you have persons who are responsible for the upkeep of our recreational ground. They expect that, this is a annual thing. Every year we have cricket between January and June, and we are met with almost the same situation every single year, right? And sometimes when you speak out about it, you become the most hated person. But I mean, I've been in this position for many years, and sometimes you have to just bite the bullet and just do it, and maybe we can get some kind of redress. And hopefully this weekend, I've seen videos where Shaw Park finally got a heavy roller, because obviously coming into a new season, the lighter rollers can't really compact the pitches. So they've been asking for the heavy rollers. They have gotten the heavy roller at Shaw Park and at Moriah, and I'm told this morning at Roxwood they're going to get one this morning to ensure that we have some cricket and some proper standard. Because if you are a cricketer at Kinlabi, you don't want to go on a pitch where the first ball or the first over, the ball is rolling by an ankle. You want consistent bunks for the batter, consistent bunks to the bowler, and you want consistent performance and good scores and good performance with bat and ball. So to all the powers that be, we really hoping that we have a good start this weekend, weather permitting, and we can have the consistency throughout the season.
But Marcus, I have a question concerning that, because let's say the TCA, right? They contact the Division of Sports and they do all the communications and guarantees that on this date the pitch will be ready. Let's say about a week or 3 days before the tournament or the match is to take place. Does the TCA follow up with the division to find out if the pitch is actually ready?
Yeah, there's a contact that I don't want to mention, because he has been very good to the association and myself. Whenever I make a phone call, things happen. And what we try to do, because I live on this end, I try to check at Shaw Park, then someone who lives in Moriah will check at Moriah, then someone who lives up the road will check up the road. And when you go and you see the pitch covered, what else is left to be said? To be assumed that the pitch is prepared, right?
Yes.
Then when you go on the match day now, when they take off the covers, the pitch didn't roll, they didn't mark it, or they didn't cut it down or shave it to the standard that we want. Who's left to be blamed there? So the follow-ups happen right up until the day before the match. Because as I said before, you don't want to schedule a match and then the team show up and the pitch is not prepared. So we obviously do our checks, because we have people we want to consider the cricket committee. We have the association, and we have persons who are in charge of ensuring that the cricket is actually organized at a high standard. So with the checks and balances, they have been put in place, and in fact today we have to go and do that checks and balances again. in that sense. So over the weekend we have 3 matches. Blago Gladiators taking on CMB United. That match going to take place at Moriah. And then we have Roxborough Strikers taking on Scarborough Mason, all the defending champions at Roxborough. And then we have Airport Authority taking on Georgia PYC at Shore Park. And Tobago Police, they are on a bye. We got to there and support the teams. Labi, thanks so much for the short discussion. I'm told we have to take a break, and then we have Assemblyman King on the Noon on the next side of the break. But guys, do us a favor and share the live, share the live, share the live.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Hi viewers, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Updates Television. This is the Good Morning Show, and we are into the sporting segment. It's Friday, 30th January. Finally, January is ending. Yes, thank you so much, Akin Labi, for staying on, of course, talking about all that's happening locally with sports. At this time, we have Assembly Member. I have to remember that, Assembly Member, no longer Assemblyman, Mr. Keegan the Noon. He's online with us here at Tobago Updates. Good morning to you, Assembly Member.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Marcus. A special good morning to the Electoral District of Bukumompes, and thank you for having me this morning.
Fantastic, and thank you so much for taking time off. From what I know, it's a very busy schedule that you have given the appointment this week. And what I want to start off with, Assembly Member the Noon, what has the reception been from your newly minted division appointed this week here? Tell me about your first few days in office.
My first few days in office have been pretty good. It's a division I'm quite familiar with. I was able to hit the ground running, dealing with some outstanding matters that need to be treated with some matter of urgency. I know for sure that the Cricket Association and so forth have some challenges with the pitch and so forth that they have. Right now we are building out a strategic approach as to ensure going forward that we no longer have those challenges as it pertains to maintenance of the fields, both for the cricket grounds and for the football grounds and so forth. There are a number of challenges that we have faced as it pertains to some of the machines and so on. So we're looking at a long-term strategic approach to ensure that these things are not only remedied now, but they no longer become an issue in the future. Because sport and youth are two integral aspects of our society, recognizing the importance that they play in ensuring that we not only create the greatest island on the planet, but that we invest in the young people and we invest in sporting on the island. And so I've met with a number of the the persons who play an integral role in ensuring that these things are done. Next week, we have some meetings with the Minister of Sport and Youth from Trinidad to roll out some of the plans that we have. We have had some commitments made to some of the outstanding matters that need to be treated with as it pertains to like the stadium and so. So I have hit the ground running. As I said earlier, it's a division I'm quite familiar with. I know Tobago, especially the young people of Tobago, have really high expectations. And so those expectations must not only be hit, but they must be surpassed as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm happy that you mentioned, plans are afoot in terms of ensuring that we have those recreational spaces available, and not just for cricket, but football, because football is still, I think they have actually now reached midway. So it's about sharing the spaces and ensuring that the spaces are readily available and up to standard to have, good performances both from the footballers and the cricketers, and obviously with the Dwight York Stadium not being operationalized at this time for track and field. Track and field currently housed at Shore Park. Assembly member, what do you anticipate is going to be your biggest challenge in this new role as a secretary in Division of Youth Empowerment and Sport?
The thing about it is, Marcus, I don't look at challenges. I look at the solution. What I am doing currently is an assessment of everything that is happening within the division. I'm meeting with the persons that are the end users, say for example at the sporting fraternity and so forth. So it is going to be not only a strategic approach, but an approach that involves everyone that is going to be a part of the process. And so in the upcoming weeks, we're going to be meeting with all the staff, because in order to be an effective and efficient leader, you must first not only know, but understand the people that are working along with you. Because, for example, I may have a challenge with a field, say, being cut, not recognizing that there's a simple issue that needs to be fixed in order to get the desired outcome that I want. And so, to ensure that all parts of the machinery is working, it is necessary for me, as the Secretary of Youth and Sport, to not only reach out, but to include everyone in the process, so that we are all singing from the same hymn book. So it's not a top-down approach, but it's an inclusive approach that we are looking for. I am also prepared as Secretary to make some significantly hard decisions for the advancement of the people of Tobago, especially for youth and sport. I've seen there are some persons that I've met, and sometimes I wonder, you could make the process a bit simpler, just by doing your job. And it is important for us to recognize that when we don't do our jobs, it is the people of Tobago, the young people, the sporting fraternity that is going to suffer. And so if I have to be the bad person at the start to ensure that we have an efficient and effective division, I am prepared to do that. I'm prepared to make those hard decisions, because at the end of the day, Tobago must win, the young people of Tobago must win, and the sporting fraternity of Tobago must win. And so, as a sporting advocate yourself, you can rest assured that you have a secretary that is reachable, a secretary that understands, and a secretary that is willing and ready to work on your behalf.
Fantastic. And outgoing Secretary Clark spoke extensively about the lack of productivity coming out of the Division of Community, the then Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport. Realistically, Mr. Dinoon, do you think that the mindset of the workers they can change, and if so, what are some of the things you may have in mind to change that mindset in terms of to improve productivity?
The thing about it is, Marcus, I am always amazed that the same individual that would be here in Tobago and not working would leave and go to the States and become the best worker of the month. And it begs us to question, what is it that is needed for us to do as an administration to inspire that kind of performance. And when you get down to it, you recognize that the reward for good work is more work, and the reward for bad work is no work. And so, when you, as an administration, we take that approach to ensuring that good work is rewarded and bad work is reprimanded, I think at that juncture, people will get on board and recognize that this is a dawn of a new era. Because I am going to be taking the responsibility for persons who are not doing their jobs. And that is why I am prepared to. The approach that I'm going to have is to have those individuals explain to the people of Tobago why things are not done the way they should have been. So, say for example, Marcus Daniel is the supervisor for the pitch ground. 2 months ago, he was given the instruction as to as to ensuring that the pitch is prepared for the Cricket Association. And 5 days before, the pitch is not prepared. When I come to the media, I'm coming here with Marcus. Marcus would have to explain to the people of Tobago why the pitch is not done. You see, the thing about it is, Marcus, for far too long, responsibility has always been placed on the secretary of the division. And I've sat and I've seen firsthand instances where a clear directive has been given. A clear directive has been given to ensure that we don't end up in any kind of a problem. And I've seen those directives not carried out, and then the secretary is blamed. And so I am going to be holding my heads of department accountable. And so they are going to be placed in a position to hold their staff accountable as well. Because at the end of the day, Marcus, as I always say, when we do not do our jobs, it is the people of Tobago that suffer.
Yes, fantastic. And just this of course is it's a new division. I coined it youth empowerment and sport. And for those for those who may not be aware, can you just give a brief overview of what this division entails and what it's going to be responsible for?
So my division is that division that is going to ensure that youth development on the island is a priority, as well as sport development. In conversation with not only young people but the sporting fraternity specifically, they felt as though youth and sport were overshadowed by community development with the amalgamation of the division, and so the separation was necessary. So under my purview, youth empowerment, youth development, multipurpose facilities, sporting facilities, just to name a few, are going to be under my remit. So you can look forward to better maintained field, and look forward to better maintained sporting facilities, and look forward to the rebirth of the youth awards. You can also look forward to the rebirth of the sport awards as well. So there are a number of things to look forward to in this upcoming tenure. You could also look forward to the indoor sporting facility. I'm already in talks about that. You could look forward to some of the pavilions on the island that need significant repairs being repaired. So we have been listening. We have been listening to the cries of the people. We have no excuse in this 4 years to not perform, and so I have already indicated to my staff that this 4 years is going to be a 4-year period that we are going to drive youth and sport development on this island like never before, so that people of Tobago know that they would have made the right decision in not only voting for me, but appointing a young person to care for the interests of the young people of Tobago.
Yeah, and if you are to list, let's say 3 or 5 things that you want to immediately, five major tasks or projects that you will want to immediately get off and running, let's say the next 5 months, what would you say are those projects? And in terms of long term, you can also mention some of your long term plans as well.
The thing about it is, Marcus, because I have been in the Tobago House of Assembly for a very long time, I understand that having your plans and policies in place is good, but it's always dependent on what is available at the time. So I'm currently doing an assessment as to see the allocation. I've done that. I've requested those documents to see how much money is available to drive the development of sport and youth on the island as it pertains to the mega projects and so forth. That allocation and then followed up by the releases would be able to me as to what is achievable. But in the short order, I am looking to ensure that we no longer have issues. Marcus Daniel is no longer on the sports show on a Friday talking about the pitch not being ready.
Yeah.
Those simple issues. Sometimes we look at the big mega projects, and when those are completed, if the small issues like your field not being maintained is still there, the mega projects are not as important. And so, looking forward to the future, we are going to ensure as an administration that not only the big projects are done, but also the small projects, such as ensuring that your field is cut, are catered to. Because at the end of the day, as we look forward to making Tobago the greatest little island on the planet, we have to look at what is it to the people who are living on the greatest little island on the planet.
Yeah, fantastic. And as we look to wrap, I mean, you are considered a youth as well. You're very young, younger than I am. And you know, what would you say, Assembly Member Dinoon, you know, the young people, what are they in need of most at this time in Tobago?
Well, different classes of young people require different things. There are some persons who require financial support to achieve their goals. Say, for example, I've met a few young persons who are heavily involved in sports that have expressed that all they need is some financial support from the division. Then there's another segment of our young people that require mentorship and direction because they don't have an idea of what they want to achieve in this life, and there's really no one to guide them. So mentorship is something that we're going to be driving significantly on the island, especially for young men, because I recognize we have a number of initiatives for the young women, but very few for the young men, and so that is something that we're also going to be focused on. So mentorship and direction for some, support for the others. There's a class of young people as well that really does not require anything, but just requires to be a part of youth groups and youth organizations. I have recognized that the spirit of volunteerism, that spirit of youth organizations has slowly died on the island. So we have to take what you call a significant, urgent, strategic approach to revitalizing youth organizations and youth groups because they play a significant and important part in holistic youth development. We also have instances where there are young people who have the ability to get into sports and all they need is sometimes a better. I've met with a few young persons who have indicated to me that they don't really want to have to go to Trinidad to be good at football, and they want to have the ability to stay here and do their sporting in terms of getting better at the trade that they want to do, at the sport, sorry.
Yeah.
And so we're going to also be looking at a elite sporting program for young persons on the island. So where persons can come together and
yeah, seem to have lost Assembly Member Dinoon there, but exciting times definitely ahead. Based on the discussion that I've had this morning here with Assembly Member Dinoon, happy to hear the return of the Youth and Sports Awards. It's something that I know the youth groups and the sport groups that have always looked forward to it in terms of the end of their sporting season being rewarded. Right, so we have Assembly Member Dinoon back. You hear me clearly, right?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so you can continue.
Right. So as I said, the approach that we are going to be having for sport and youth is going to be a personal approach. It's going to be an include. It's going to be one that includes all the stakeholders that are going to be a part of the process.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very grateful. And Marcus, I'm looking forward to you specifically being a part of this process. I have a meeting in the upcoming week that I'm going to be inviting you to. So ensure to clear your schedule on Wednesday.
Yes.
Because I believe that you have a significant role to play along with the other persons who are advocating for sports and for youth on the island as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make this clear that one is not going to overshadow the other. Youth and sport are going to work hand in hand to ensure that both entities are not only represented, but represented well in the space of Tobago.
Fantastic. Assembly Member Noon, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. I think all those who would have viewed this interview this morning, especially those young people and persons involved in sport, are excited by the plans and direction that you will want to take this particular division that I coined YES Division, Youth Empowerment and Sport. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. I'm looking forward to much more conversations where young people and sport is concerned here in Tobago.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.
Yeah, fantastic. Viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Updates Television this morning. I've had a really good conversation there with Assembly Member Keegan Noon, just getting an idea of his plans for this newly minted division, youth empowerment, and sport, expecting a number of new initiatives. And as I mentioned before, I'm excited to hear that the Youth Awards, the Sport Awards, that's back on the table. He spoke about the indoor facility that we have long awaited here in Tobago, Dwight York Stadium discussion as well. The minister is going to be here next week. And just that general getting the recreational spaces in Tobago up to a particular standard that football, cricket, and whoever wants to use the ground or the facilities, they can use it, knowing that the ground was well maintained and prepared to ensure that maximum results. So guys, thank you so much for being here this morning. Remember to stay safe on the road out there. We have Good Morning Tobago up next. Yes, don't forget guys, share the live, share the live, share the live.
My brother Rollins Christopher Alexander Boy's birthday, his 60th birthday is significant to us because one, he was not be alive at this time. When he was 10 years, he was knocked down by a car. He was diagnosed with low functional Down syndrome, and the doctor says he would live till about 30. But we thank God that he has blessed him with 30 extra years. Rollins' life's journey has not been an easy one. He endured misunderstanding, exclusion, and hardship in a very time where special needs children were not recognized. Yet, through it all, Rollins persevered. Despite these challenges, he grew into a gentle, joyful, music-loving, community-embraced soul. From playing the scratcher with the Mellow Harp Sea Orchestra, to faithfully attending church, to dancing freely at every celebration, Rollins has taught us the true meaning of resilience, joy, and unconditional love.
The first day that I came, I was searching actually, am I in the right place? And I wondered, whether Boy heard my plea. He came to me. It was the first time that I was meeting him. And he said, "You all right?" In truth and in fact, I was a bit shaky. I said, "Yes." But that question, I think, it placed me in a zone of comfort. When he hugged me and he said again, "You're sure?" And this, they have a way they would put their hands here to see if you have a temperature. Sorry. He did that. And I think that confirmed my comfort. I said, "Yes, here is my place."
This is a big milestone for him because, as you know, he is here, and today this is a big experience because usually they don't live this long. As we've heard, it takes a lot of hard work, and for him to be able to still be alive and still, this is a lot of work, a lot of love from the school. We've been around him, rallying around him and teaching him, and we want him to live for as long as he can.
We want to create an environment where persons with disabilities can live independently, participate fully in society, and access high quality inclusive care in Tobago. Mr. Rollins is a clear example of what long-term care, love, and support from family, community, and state look like. All right, Mr. Alexander King Boy, happy 60th birthday. Wishing you the very best. God bless and cheers.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix. And guys, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. This morning, we are jumping straight ahead into our conversation. And this morning, I have the privilege of sitting here in studio and chatting with Miss Akesia Frederick, as well as Shia Thomas. And they are from the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning.
Shia, so you are the dance captain for the company. Tell us a little bit about your role and your experience and why you're here this morning.
Okay, so it's very nice being the dance captain because it helps me learn how to be independent and do better and encourage the dancers to do better in dance, and it also helps me learn leadership. So yeah.
Okay. And tell us a bit about why you're here this morning. Tell us about what we can look forward to from the dance company.
Okay, so this morning we are here to talk about the recent limbo competition. We went down to Trinidad last week, and we're also here to advertise the upcoming concert called The Inception.
Excellent. Akisha, you are known for training students in dance throughout Tobago, regardless of age, stage, size, demographic. And you've been in the game for quite a while. But tell us a bit about the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy.
Well, the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy was founded in 2015. And I've decided to form this company because I wanted to, of course, spread my knowledge after getting my experience in the University of the West Indies and acquiring my degree, and share my experience and offer experience to young persons in Tobago. Because I've been along for quite a while, and I did have quite a few experiences and opportunities. So hence the reason for the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy. And we are a folk-based company. Of course, we do contemporary and dabble a bit in modern technique. So yeah, that's basically
right.
us.
And you have traveled the world with dance and
Yes.
waved the flag for Trinidad and Tobago, and specifically Tobago. And you have been able to showcase your talent in many spheres, many areas. How are you using this experience to integrate it into the academy to give the students that level of global exposure and experience?
2022, we did our very first tour to New York. We partnered with a company called Tropical Fete. They actually found us on our Instagram page, and I was offering virtual limbo classes to some of their students in New York. And the dancers performed in Times Square, the world stage. And we did that tour again the following year. We were supposed to go to Wales last year. However, we decided to opt out of that one. But that is how I intend to globally expose the company through traveling experiences, linking with universities, because we did a few lecture series workshops with a university from Washington. And so foreigners just find our information on the page and contact me, and we do stuff with them. Or quite recently we did a performance for a series, a TV series that came to Tobago, and they did a few series here, The Divas, and we did 2 performances for them.
Excellent. And Shia, tell us a bit about getting into limbo dancing specifically. I know there's a wide array of dances that you guys do, but when persons think about limbo, they think, wow, that's quite a difficult dance to pull off when it comes to endurance, flexibility, and define your fears, because we know sometimes that limbo bar is set on fire, or sometimes you're even blindfolded before going underneath the limbo bar. So tell us a bit about that and how that has helped you to develop personally.
Okay, so limbo dancing is a sport, and limbo is all about endurance and, as you said, and core work. So when you're going under a bar, it's about mentally preparing yourself and physically to go under the bar. You're not supposed to rush it. You have to take your time, and you go slowly until it raises like out of the bar. And with the fire, you can't really overthink it, because it's just like going under the bar without fire.
Right.
You just have to, as I said, prepare yourself and go. And when you finish, you'll feel amazing.
What about the parents who are saying, I don't want my kids to go under a bar of fire, I don't want my kids to do limbo dancing, it seems so dangerous? What would you say to them?
Okay, I would say you have to risk it. You can't just go, you can't just put use your affairs to put aside what your children want to do.
Right.
And when they try it out, they could see how non-dangerous it actually is, and it's actually very safe.
All right. Akisha, tell us a bit about the recent national limbo competition and the participation of the academy.
Well, I'll start with the participation of the academy. The academy went under, it was a collaboration with the Division of Education out of the Multicultural Unit, and they went as guest artists. So this year I've decided not to put the academy into the competition, but as guest artists. It turned out so beautiful that everybody kept asking me, why didn't you enter them into the competition?
Right.
So the competition now was a combined group of Tobagonians from various groups. And Darcel Kirk was also very instrumental in putting the group together, because the National Dance Association wanted Tobago participation. They really wanted Tobago participation. And because Tobago we do have a lack of limbo dancers on the island. And to go down with as one Tobago, one company, and one power, because when we come together and we do things well. We decided to come together. We practiced over like 1 week and a couple of days, and we pulled it off until we placed second.
Wow, that's
Yes.
amazing. And Shia, can you tell us a bit about the inception? What is that about?
Okay, so the Inception is the upcoming concert on March 1st, my birthday actually.
Yeah.
And it is about the dance tutor, Auntie Akisia, and how she raised as a dancer coming up.
Okay, so it's a storytelling through
It's a
that.
story.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more conversation on the Inception, and we'll be continuing our conversation with the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy right here. See you soon. Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now we're still continuing our conversation with the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy, and we have a new guest joining us this morning. Introduce yourself to us.
Hi, my name is Kyla Alexander.
Okay, and Kyla, are you one of the residents or one of the dance students at the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy?
Yes, I am one of the dance students. I am actually the co-captain.
Excellent. And so tell us a bit about your role in the upcoming event, the Inception.
My role in the upcoming event, I um
It's okay. Are you going to be leading any of the dances? Are you going to be what is your role, and then what do you look forward to the most?
I I really do think hopefully I might be leading one of the dances.
Right.
And one thing I'm looking forward the most is the piqué dance.
Okay. All right. And so you said the piqué dance. Is that one of your favorite dances? And tell us a bit why. Why is that one of your favorite dances? You know, I have a little history in folk dancing myself. So why that one out of all of them?
The piqué dance is my favorite because of all the moves and the steps and the energy it takes to do the dance.
Yeah, I like that. I think it is a very, high energy type of dance, and it really changes the mood of the crowd. Especially going from a dance like possibly like a ballet or something like that, and then moving into a piqué dance, you definitely get to raise the energy and the spirits, and you get to see the crowd moving along with you with that. And so tell us why person should come out and support the concert and be a part of it.
Person should come out and come to the concert because you get to see a bunch of different dances and just enjoy your culture and how wonderful it really is.
Excellent. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to encourage you to come out and support the Tobago Alpha Dance Academy for the inception. And this will be happening on the 1st of March. This is Sunday, the 1st of March, and you'll be able to immerse yourself in the power of dance at the Shore Park Cultural Complex. And just for the small fee of $200 for adults, and for kids, it's $150. They get to come out and see their peers and be inspired. Akesia, tell us a bit about why it's important to come out and support the kids and to support the academy on a whole for this concert.
Because I think it's important that we support our young people. The academy comprises of children from age 3. I do have 2-year-olds, but they won't be on stage, but from age 3 to 18. So they are all young people and they're brilliant dancers. We work really hard. And apart from that, the inception and more, you will see a variety. And I'm also, as I said, we are a folk-based company. I am exploring with the folk. You would see, like Kyla just mentioned, the piqué dance. We all know what the piqué is. The piqué, you cannot change the piqué. You cannot change the history of the piqué. But why not see what else you can do with that dance? So I'm also exploring with our folk. So that is something to experience. You will see a little difference.
Right. So we're talking a bit about the evolution of dancing.
Yes.
When we get into that as well. Well, again, we want to thank you so much for being here. And when we think about dancing, specifically folk dancing, the traditional type of dancing, there has been this mentality among many parents that it is for their girl children. But we see a number of dances that require a male counterpart. So when it comes to encouraging parents to even get their young boys involved in the academy and involved in dance, is there anything that you want to see as it pertains to that?
Oh, definitely. I will actually love to have some boys because men and boys, they are powerful and we have powerful dances for them. And dances for anybody. Because people don't realize we live in dance. Dance is a part of us. You're walking down the street and you are dancing. Sometimes when I tell my dancers, we're going off and we're doing a movement and they might do right. But when you're walking left, right. And people don't realize that because you don't swing your arms like this, you swing your arms the opposite direction. So dance is for anybody. And if I have some male in this company, we can do awesome stuff. We need males to lift. Right?
Yeah.
You have these dances where you have a conversation between male and female. And that is a realm that I'm trying to get into, to tell stories in dance. So if I have some male dancers in the company, we'll get to tell a lot more stories. The conversation with the young men who like to just hang out on the block. Why not tell that village conversation in dance? So parents, don't think that dance is for women only. Dance is for males as well, you know. So
excellent. Well, Akisi, I want to thank you so much for the work that you have been doing in the industry and the work that you continue to do to bring youths together, to empower them through dance, and to continue to inspire Tobago and wave the Trinidad and Tobago flag throughout the world with dance and with limbo. And, you know, even the combined effort that took place with all of the stalwarts, I would say, when it comes to limbo dancing on the island recently in Trinidad at the national dance competition, and placing second. I want to say congratulations to you and the entire team of women who took to Trinidad to represent the island of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more conversation after this. See you soon.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Tobago, it's Carnival. Dubai, the event space formerly known as Shade, for the Court Tobago, says, let's celebrate Carnival. Bring your coolers every Friday and Saturday, starting from Friday the 30th of January till Carnival week, and pay $50 at the door with your cooler all night. No ice, no chaser allowed. Top DJ and artists passing through every Friday and Saturday. To pre-book your cabanas, call 369-6414 and 394-3612 or email iwamg@gmail.com. And this promotion is going on until Easter. Gates open at 9 p.m. It's rum, it's bacchanal. Bring your coolers and come.
Been down this road before. All that left is rum and bacchanal. This is carnival.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Come in. Long time I see you. This station complete. Ready for children party. Mommy! Jay, you can't go nowhere with these children. And you know you can't depend on Kevin neither Stephen to see about them. Yeah, total waste. So I supposed to stay home whole time? Jada is 12. She could see about that. You just leave Jada to see about Kia and Kayla? I thought it was your mother or your sister. Who? Them always busy. Jada could handle that. She cooking and cleaning a long time. And the next two better know what time it is. It's only me, you know. I will talk to my mother. She just home these days. She will make sure the children okay. Alright. Let me see the moves for later.
Before your Ramajé, make sure the children okay. Call 996 to report all child abuse now. A message from the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, this morning we are jumping straight ahead, and of course we're still talking all about interdepartment, the THA interdepartment competition that's happening next week on the 5th of February. And we know when we think about interdepartment, that's one of the highly competitive times among the Tobago House of Assembly and its different divisions and some other subsidiaries as well. I know usually we have a number of other departments outside of the THA that takes part in that. We usually see WASA, TNTech, and even the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service taking part in the competition. But this morning we are speaking specifically with the ladies of the OCS, that is the Office of the Chief Secretary. And this morning I have the privilege of chatting with Kylan Gibbs as well as Mashyla Williams. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. All right, are you excited for the competition? How are you guys feeling? What's the energy like up at OCS? Is the team prepared for victory? What is the energy like up there?
Safe to say the ladies that are working behind the scenes with us are incredibly excited for what we have to offer to the table for Interdepartment 2026. I personally believe we are coming with something unique, something very different, unlike anything we've ever seen on the stage before. And one of the reasons why I think it's so unique is because Miss Personality, Mashyla, is probably one of the youngest contestants for this year, if not ever.
Right.
Mashyla's only
22.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
But I'm not too sure about that part as yet, but I am very, very excited to be a part of this amazing team. They don't want us to feel anything like pressure or anything like that. So
excellent. And I like the fact that you said that. So is the team concentrated on you guys' participation based on having fun and representing the division? And how do you think that would be demonstrated through your presentation on the night?
well, I think that they just want us to have fun. They just want it to be an amazing experience for us, because this is our first time being a part of something like this. I haven't been working in OCS for that long, but I love the vibes, I love the energy, and that is exactly what we want to bring on stage for that night.
Right. Kylan, tell us a little bit about what it takes to actually step forward and be a part of the competition, because, you know, as I always say, in the past I've been approached and I have always run from the opportunity as far as possible. So what does it take to say, yes, I'll do it, I'll present myself and be a part of the competition?
Oh, that is a very interesting way to put it. The thing about it is, I've been in show business for as long as I can remember. I've been doing this since I was probably 5 years old. I'm currently 28 now. So show business, I'm not new to it. I'm very familiar as to how this works. Now, I've been working with Office of the Chief Secretary for a little over a year now, and I got a call from one of the lovely ladies at the main office. She did not know that I was in the Office of the Chief Secretary. She thought I was still in Infrastructure Division.
Okay.
So when she figured out that I was working there, she called me immediately. She was like, Kylan, we need somebody to sing Calypso for us this year. And I know you're real good at what you do. Can you represent us? I'm like, you really couldn't find anybody else? She's like, we could, but nobody as good as you. I said, you know what? Sure, why not? I mean, I've looked at Interdepartment over the years, so I have an idea as to what to expect. And again, I'm not new to this sort of thing.
Exactly. Kylan, tell us a bit about your composition for the competition without giving too much information. Are you the composer? Are you the person who has written it? And what can we look forward to in terms of the substance and the content?
No, I'm actually not the composer of my Calypso this year. I haven't composed music in quite some time, so it was difficult for me. I had to outsource a composer. Thankfully, I have local songwriter Kylan Alexander, who's actually a very close friend and musician of mine. He has come and given me a composition that I believe would be very relatable to the general audience of Interdepartment. I think a lot of people are gonna get some laughs with the way how I present it as well too.
Right. And persons have talked about, you know, the quality of the production being reduced over time and trading that, you know, quality for just a lewd way of approaching getting the crowd to laugh and to engage. How do you ensure that you keep the comedic effect, you keep the audience engagement, but also maintain that level of substance that keeps the quality of the overall competition at a high standard?
Well, safe to say, I've been doing my personal research. I've been listening to a variety of music, especially calypso music, since I was a little child. People like Chuck Dust, Crow, those sort of artists. I draw inspiration from those calypsonians, and I intend to incorporate that style into what I intend to do.
Right.
So what you would see on the big stage for like Young Kings, Calypso Monarch, that sort of thing, I intend to bring the same thing here, bring a similar or probably even better quality to this stage as well.
Right.
That is how serious I am about this.
So we're talking about a quality that could actually be translated into the National Calypso Monarch.
That's right.
If necessary. Excellent. And let's talk about your personality presentation, right?
Yes.
We know that a huge part of that has to do with the carnival costume component. Can we see you going big, bold, and brave, or are we just going to have to wait to see on the night?
Well, my calypso, well, no, not my calypso, my carnival costume is going to be something out of the box.
Right.
I really actually cannot even describe what we are doing, but you will just have to wait on the night, because I am actually excited to even see this come to life.
Right.
Because the time is getting closer and closer, and you know, everybody just excited, everybody hyped. And I think that for the night, everybody will be surprised.
Okay, I will be there.
Yeah,
I will be there. I can't tell you which division I'll be representing because I don't want to show my biases, right? However, I will be there. I will be front and center, and Tobago Updates will also be there. We will be bringing you live coverage of the event, and you know, when it comes to Tobago, we bring you the highest level of quality, giving you that 360-degree capture and high quality content for that inter-department competition happening next week, and that is on the 5th. That's Thursday, right?
Yes,
if I'm not
right.
mistaken,
Yeah.
that's next Thursday, the 5th of February. Guys, get yourself ready now if you haven't ordered your t-shirts from your respective divisions. I mean, whether or not you work at the THA, this is always the opportunity to come out, have fun, have a great time, represent whichever division of your choice, whichever division that you think has the winning personality and calypso. You know, hit up someone who may be working there and find out how you can get your t-shirt or even a package and come and have an excellent time. Ladies, finally, tell us a bit about how the preparation for this interdepartment has really opened your eyes a bit as it pertains to culture, engaging with other creatives, and just building relationships within the organization that you work in.
Well, one thing I will also mention, those who know me behind the big screen have normally seen me behind my steel pan. I'm currently preparing for National Panorama as we speak. I'm supposed to be traveling to Trinidad this weekend for medium and large semifinals on Queen's Park Savannah. So I have to juggle that as well as juggle outfit fittings, dress rehearsals with my fellow musicians, and all that good stuff. So I have a lot on my plate, I will admit. But I have been assured that I'm working with professionals. I know some of these professionals personally, so I am in good hands.
Yes.
And the ladies that are actually working behind the scenes with us, we have been super supportive all the step of the way, even though we have such little time to work with.
Right.
It is absolutely amazing. And they take this just as seriously as I do, and I love that so much.
Yes,
All right.
they are
What about you?
They are very, very, very sweet. They are compassionate. They don't want us to feel anything about pressure. They want us to be. They want us to be. It to be fun. They want it to be a learning experience. And I have learned so much because I've learned about time management, because I'm never on time.
All right, wow. Well, you were on time this morning for
Yes.
this interview, Michaela, so
Yes.
let's give you that props, right?
Yes.
So again, we want to thank you ladies so much for being here and representing the Office of the Chief Secretary at the Interdepartment competition that's happening on next Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more conversation after this. See you soon.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Hair goals, we've got 'em. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Do more, live more.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go, go.
a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, this morning we are still chatting and we are chatting about the Tobago TTPS FET. And who else to talk about that with than Corporal Macmillan. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Tobago.
Right.
Thanks for having us.
And we know when we see you, you either in uniform or behind the turntables. So in this event, do we get to see a mixture of both?
Well, I have a number of hats, as everybody would know. But yeah, this time is I'm under another hat yet again. I am representing the Tobago Division Events Committee, TDEC. Right? That is a newly formed, driven, powerful, energetic committee that was formed. We are under the stewardship of the Superintendent Joseph, right? Our focus is to plan and execute all the special events for the Tobago Division, the police division in Tobago.
Right. And I know that community and stakeholder engagement has been at the top of the priorities.
Indeed.
As it pertains to the Tobago division and engaging with Tobagonians and, you know, changing that perception of the relationship between the police and the general public. Is this event a part of, mending that gap?
It is by extension, right? Of course, it's part of raising funds, obviously.
Okay.
Right? But it's also an opportunity for us to showcase that there's a softer side to the police in general. Especially in Tobago, we want to partnership with the people and we want to reach out and show that it is not all about court and lock up and that kind of thing. There's a softer side, there's a fun side. And this event is an avenue for us to show the public that they could come out and have fun with the police.
Right. So if I come to your event and I have fun, that means that I should not expect to get a ticket from you the next day, right?
It depends.
I just joking. Anyway, well, this particular event is called the Tobago Police, the Cooler FET. The Cooler Edition. And tell us a bit about when this would be taking place and where.
It is going to take place next Friday, that is the 6th of February, and it's going to be at the Police Association building. That is down in Bonaccord, behind Chilauba.
Right.
Where just before where the shade used to be.
Right.
Yeah, the Police Association building is there, and yeah.
So is it a pool party then?
There is a pool, so I don't know if you feel like that at the time. If the spirit tell you to do that, then by all means.
Okay, and there will be no restrictions and no...
It's a fun event. It's going to be a fun event.
Right.
No holds bad.
Okay, and tell us a bit about the artists that we're seeing on the flyer here that are going to be present at the event on Friday night.
Well, the feature act is Young Brother.
Right.
Right, the Inch by Inch man. I only want to come out and jam a little bit to the man. You have a couple of hit songs. We all know Young Brother is going to mash up the place.
Right.
So you don't want to be home and then hear somebody talk about it. You have to come out and experience it. We also have some local artists. We have Adana. We have Verse. We have Joby. And our very own Simple C. There are going to be some other feature acts as well.
Excellent. And, you know, I see that the tickets are only $200.
Indeed.
Tell us a bit about the accessibility. It's a cooler function. Are there any restrictions to bring in coolers? Are there only coolers of a particular size? I see that on the flyer here. It says walk with your cooler, but no tracer, no ice, because these things would be on sale at the event.
Yeah. Of course, the regular, no oversized coolers, no glass bottles.
Right.
Those are the only restrictions. You could do whatever else you want.
Right, and let me ask you something. Would the TTPS be represented Thursday night at the interdepartment competition?
Yes, we will be represented on Thursday, Calypsonian and personality alike.
Right, well, we know you have participated in the past, and
Yes,
then you
indeed.
have brought the talent to the stage. So, in the event that there's a victory for the TTPS on Thursday, this would be a part of the celebration happening on Friday as well.
I would believe so. Yes, I would like to think so. The interdepartment, excellent show all the time, and then we have, I think we have a very good chance this year.
Right.
Yeah, we have a very good chance this year. So after we win Thursday night, well, Friday morning, we could just spill over, and then the celebration is going to take place down at Bonaccord.
Excellent. And, you know, finally, is there anything that you want to tell persons as it pertains to where they can get their tickets, time that the event is starting, and why it's so important for them to come out and celebrate, socialize with the TTPS, the Tobago division, and, you know, just be a part of the celebration?
This show is an opportunity for Tobagonians to come out and experience a premium event for the National Carnival. We don't have many events over here. You know, all of the focus is on Trinidad. So we took this opportunity to extend a premium event for Tobagonians to come out and have a good time and be a part of the National Carnival. Right? This is your opportunity. It's only $200, people, or they spend a lot more doing a lot less. Right? So, come out and have a good time with the TTPS, Young Brother, Verse, Adana. It's a star-studded cast. We also have Starbright and Echo. We have Main Squeeze, Showtime Sound Machine, a host of local DJs, right? So, Simple C International again. It's going to be a real fun event. So far, the energy on the ground is magnificent, and I think it's just going to be really good. Don't let somebody tell you about it. Come and be a part of it.
Right, so is it that persons can pay at the door or they can get their tickets?
You could pay at the door, yes, but also if you're interested in getting tickets, you can contact 490-0803. That's 490-0803. 274-4466. That's 274-4466 or 352-0812. All of these numbers you can get. You can also look out for little snippets and little flyers on social media, all social media platforms. So
what is the social media handle?
You could look out for it at Showtime on IG, and any of the committee members, as a matter of fact, those are the numbers that I would have given out just a little while ago.
And the number, as you saw, ladies and gentlemen, is on the flyer.
Yeah.
And so we expect you to come out and be a part of the celebration if that's a part of the type of things that you like to indulge in.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, we want to thank you so much, Corporal Macmillan, for being here this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for being a part of this morning's discussions. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have done and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am your host, Chanel Felix, and have a great day. See you again on Monday.